welcome to another Level Up Digital Skills for All tutorial from CodeBase Stirling with me, Barry, and Kelly, whose head should be down below there, or maybe it's up there, it depends how your screen is set up. Silly thing to say. So we're going to do another Make Code Arcade tutorial where Kelly is going to talk me through, well, actually, I'm not entirely sure what we're doing this week, Kelly, so I will let you explain.
Yep. So can you see me now? I think it changes on speaker view. So whoever's talking is the person you can see. Okay, perfect. So if you've been following along, we've been slowly building our own platformer. So we've used the Corgio extension in the first episode. And then in the second episode, we created animated coins. And then we suggested that you could create an enemy in the same way that we created the animated coins. So today what we want to do is we want to get rid of the Corgio extension and create our own sprite. So we might not have time to animate our sprite, but we'll be able to sort of build it and then move it with the controllers. So does that sound good, Barry?
Yes, I'm going to say hesitantly, but yes, I can do this with your help. Let's go.
Okay, perfect. So you can see our workspace with all of our blocks currently in it.
Oh,
and you can, yep, so that's it. And you can see the Corgio extension blocks are all that sort of beigey color. And so what we are going to do, this is going to require a little bit of fiddling. We are going to, do you see where it says set my Corg? So drag the set, where it says set, drag that whole section out. Perfect. Now we're going to put a few things back in, but it goes bit by bit. So the first thing we're going to drag back is where it says set tile map. We'll drag that back in. And then...
Sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay.
I'm trying to move that out of the way. That's it, so I can see. Okay.
So now you can delete those sort of shadow blocks. If you drag them into the blocks box, you can delete them. And then we're going to delete the block that says make camera follow my Corg. So you can just double click on it or right click, and it gives you the option to delete the block. Now, something to remember is there's also an undo button on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. So if you end up accidentally deleting something, you can just undo it and redo it there. So we're now going to build our own sprite. So we'll go into the sprites blocks and we'll grab a set my sprite. And we're going to drop that under on start. And so now we can change the name of my sprite. So what would you like your hero to be called?
Oh, Bob.
Okay. That's good. That's what I would have called it. So click on that. And then you can say rename variable. And you can call variable Bob. And so now we can see set Bob of sprite to kind player. So this is going to be our player. We don't see him in our simulator just yet because we need to create him. So in that little gray block, let's click in there. And we can go into the gallery and pick a pre-made sprite, or you could draw your own sprite if you are feeling creative.
I think we will take a ready-made one.
Yeah. So you can scroll down a bit and there's, I won't tell you what to choose, but there's some pretty nice pre-made people there.
I think Bob has to be a monkey.
Okay.
It doesn't matter which one I choose, does it?
Well, let's try to choose one where he's not doing anything that looks particularly animated. So we can see we've got jumping. Do you have one? Yeah, I suppose you could you,
That one?
yeah, that one looks all right. And then we'll just click done. Oh yeah, the cat. I always choose the princess, but I've become quite fond of the snake lately. Okay, so now we have our sprite. He is facing the wrong direction, so we do need to flip him. Does anyone know where this flip option is? I'm trying to scroll on your screen, Barry, and it's not working. If we go to, how do I?
Will I just choose another sprite that's facing the right way, or is that cheating?
No, you can keep that. We'll show you how to flip. So the flip horizontal is a gray color. So let's look in our sprites, click on sprites, and let's scroll down and see if we've got the option to flip it. So the whole block is going to be gray. No, okay. So let's go back into our blocks, the block options, and just scroll down for me, please. Ah, if you type in search, so you see there's a really nice search option. And if you type flip, ah, that's good. Someone's already made their own character. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you need to share that game with us and we'll feature it next week. So you can drop that under set Bob to Sprite. And then let's change that where it says picture. Let's change that to Bob. No, that doesn't work. Hold on.
These things are always here to test us.
Okay, we'll add this flipping option when we're animating Bob. So let's delete that block and let's just pick a different. Let's try to pick a sprite that's traveling in that direction.
There's Bob. There's new Bob.
There we go.
Bob the duck bird type thing.
Okay, there we go. That's better. And Bob the duck looks quite proportioned to the coins because yes. That's going to be good. Right. So there we've got Bob. So the way these tile maps work is 0 is this top left-hand corner. So we've got the x-axis is horizontal and the y-axis is your vertical option. So we want to give Bob a bit of gravity, right? So we need to change the acceleration. So this is going to be the force on Bob. So if we go to set my sprite again, and we're going to see set x to 0. So in your blocks options. So if you say, so there, you see where it says set my sprite x to 0. One down. No. So it's your 5th from the bottom option, 5th from the top option. No, down. Set my sprite x to 0.
Okay,
yes.
Sorry. Yeah. No, it's a Wednesday. My brain doesn't work on a Wednesday. Okay.
So grab that and drop that under set Bob. Oh, Lila says she's just started, so she's very confused. Well, this is actually a good place to start because if you follow along with creating your sprite, then you can skip half of the first webinar. So follow along with creating your sprite, and then if you go to our YouTube channel, you can watch the first webinar where we teach you how to build the platforms. But this is a good place to start anyway, so you can just follow along. So there we've got Bob, right? So we've got X. So now we're going to change the acceleration. So click in that X. And we're going to do acceleration. Now remember, we want it to be pushing down, so in the y-axis. So we're going to choose AY acceleration Y. Yep. And we're going to set this to, we'll start with 200. Right, so now we can see Bob is now on the block, but we want to be able to move Bob about. So you can't currently do that yet. So this would be in the controller section. So if we go to our controller blocks, and we're going to go move my sprite with buttons. And so this is just a recap. Do you see that little arrow with the exclamation mark in it? That means there's a bug in your code. So that sort of shows you areas you need to fix before your code will actually work. So what do you think the bug is there, Barry?
I have no idea.
So
is it because it's my sprite and not Bob?
Yeah, so when we need to tell the code exactly what we want to be moving the buttons.
Hey, I got a question right. I'm really chuffed with myself. Sorry.
That was good. You're learning. So let's go to our simulator and test it. Hey.
Bob is flying. In retrospect, a yellow bird on a yellow background maybe wasn't the best, but hey.
That's all right.
Okay.
So Bob's moving with buttons, right? But I don't know how you felt, but something that I think is difficult with the Corgio option is that you've got to jump with the up arrow. I think it's easier if you do something like jump with the A button. That seems a bit easier. How are you feeling about the gravity there? Do you feel like it should be a bit higher?
I feel like it might be easier if he came down quicker.
Okay, so let's increase, we'll increase that acceleration in the y-axis from 200 to 300.
Okay.
Oh, thanks, Ashley. So in the chat, Ashley's posted a link to how you can flip a sprite easily.
Brilliant, thanks.
Oh, so Ashley says the reason it didn't work was due to the My Sprite image. Okay, thank you. That's handy.
That's a bit better now.
Yeah.
Little Bob falls down a bit quicker.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. So, so we've got moving him. So we want to move him with the arrow buttons. We don't want to be able to control him with ups and downs. So, yep, click that plus. And now you can see, so now try and move him around.
No, he won't move with the arrows.
No, go into your simulator.
Ah, sorry.
That's all right. There we go. So now he can move up and he can move sideways.
Oh,
we don't want to be moving up. So what we'll do is we'll change the y-axis. Lila says she doesn't see a link. It's just in the comment just above you. Can you see it now? Ah, perfect. Great. So Barry, in that where it says move Bob, let's change the y. So where it says VY, let's change that to 0. And there we go. So now we can only move the duck sideways, left to right on this x-axis. So we'll make it jump now.
Okay.
And to make it jump, we'll go back into the controller section and we'll choose on A button pressed. So you see this block won't slot into anything. This is just a standalone block. So if you can drag it over to the side and drop it under that. Yes, perfect. So if we want it, so remember, this is 0, right? And our gravity is pushing down and it's a positive number. So if we want our sprite to be able to jump, we need to have a negative number. We're not going to choose acceleration this time. We're going to choose velocity because
Okay.
we want the jump to be instantaneous. As soon as you press the A button, you want the velocity to be negative. Lila, I'll share the link with how to do the map in 2 seconds. So we're going to drag in a set my sprite. So it's the scroll down a bit in the physics. Yeah, there you go. Set my sprite. Down.
Which one?
That one.
Okay.
Into our little orange block. And where it says X, we're going to click on that. And we're going to say VY, velocity Y. So it's the 4th option from the top.
There?
Up. So it's VY, velocity
Oh,
Y.
hang on. Sorry. Your face is in the way. Your little face in the corner of the screen. Sorry.
That's
VY.
Okay. Yes.
Yes, sorry.
That's okay. And so now, if you scroll to this, oh wait, I've got the chat in the way. You're going to change that 0. Let's make it minus 150. And let's see if that works. Okay, and then let's push the A button. Yay!
Cool.
If you use the arrow buttons on your keyboard, then
I've got my keyboard has very small arrow buttons. It
might be a bit simpler. So we've got it moving. The only problem is now, so play it quickly and let's see how far your duck can get.
Okay. That's it.
Perfect. So we need to get the make camera follow my sprite.
Talk amongst yourselves.
I'm just getting the link quickly. So I've just posted the link in the chat. That's to the first webinar. So that is the how to start your platformer. So Lila, I've just posted the how to start your platformer. So that's the first link. While Barry finds the make camera follow sprite.
I'm still looking.
Is it maybe on the very bottom?
Is it in Sprites?
Oh, Ashley says it might be in scene. So let's go into scene and scroll down.
Oh, sorry. There we go.
Thanks, Ashley.
Yes, thanks, Ashley. Camera follow sprite?
Yes.
And can that go anywhere?
It needs to go up. So so you can just drop it under move Bob with buttons.
Change that to Bob?
Yes. Good job.
Getting the hang of it now.
Okay.
So if I play the game now, it should follow.
Yep.
Brilliant.
Perfect. Excellent.
And
So the one last thing is, if you try play that again, you can see you can almost make your duck. You can almost make Bob fly through the air if you just keep pushing the A button. So we don't want Bob to be able to do that. So we're going to just quickly add a conditional in. We'll just do this very quickly.
Have you asked Bob? Bob looks like he's the kind of duck that likes to fly. Sorry, ignore me, Kelly. I'm mischief making. Right, ignore me.
No,
right.
That's fine.
Okay.
So this is just an option. You don't need to do this, but seeing we're here, and then we'll close off this episode, we're going to add a logic block. So let's click in logic. And we're going to choose that top one, if true, then. And that is going to bracket around in our controller block where we have the on A button pressed. So we
move it down here so I can get a better view.
Okay.
That's it. So this is going around.
That's going to clip, yes. Okay, so now we need to, where it says true, we want it so that the duck can only jump if its x-axis is 0. So it's only going to jump if it's standing on the ground. It's not going to jump if it's mid-air. So we're going to go back into the logic blocks. And we're going to scroll down to those little funny shapes. And we want to have, there, it's that top one there, 0 equals 0. Let's pick that.
And here?
Yes. So when you're, yep, no more double jumps. So when you're dragging those blocks around, you can see where you're putting them based on what highlights in yellow. And now we're going to get the velocity. So back to Sprites, please. And scroll down a bit. Or maybe not to Sprites. Wait, scroll back up, sorry.
That's okay.
So it's a physics one. So scroll down a little bit. Oh, there we go. So my sprite. So it's just the round thing. That says my sprite X. Yes. And we're going to drop that into the first 0 circle. And you're going to click on the X. And you're going to change that to velocity Y. So VY velocity Y. So let's test our duck quickly. Hey, only single jumps.
Yeah, no more double jumps.
No more double jumps.
You've ruined the game for me, Kelly. I like to double jump.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
No, I'm only kidding.
This might require you to change some of your platforms,
yeah.
Like make them a little lower, but it sort of makes the game a bit more challenging.
Totally.
So that's it. So Lila said, did you start this week? No, we started this 2 weeks ago. So in the first week, we built the platforms. In the second week, we built the coins. So all we've done this week is create our little player. But if you start with creating your player, you're just as well off. And so I've posted the links, but what I'll do, Lila, is I'll send a follow-up email to everyone that's registered, and I'll include the links to the previous videos so you can catch up there.
And remember that this one, just like all the other ones we do every Wednesday afternoon, will be uploaded to YouTube and they will be published at 9 AM on Thursday. If you have any more comments or questions, or you want to share the games that you're making, then either email us at stirling@thisiscodebase.com or comment in the YouTube comments. And if you have any ideas or suggestions or things you'd like to see us do, then pop those in the comments as well.
Yep. So we really want to see your games. And every week when you update your game, it'll give you the option to share. So Barry, if you just point at the share icon on the left-hand corner of the screen. Yep. So if you click that, it'll give you an option to save your game and create a link. And if you email us that link at sterling@thisiscodebase.com, or if you tweet us the link, we'll feature it in next week's webinar. So we really want to see what you do. And you need to keep sending us updated links because we just have links to the previous games. So.
Brilliant. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. And we hope to see you next Wednesday. All right. Yep. Take care.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.